Welcome to the Good Neighbors of Texas podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. I'm your host, Ron Holt. Welcome to episode number 1 of the Good Neighbors of Texas podcast. Today we have our good neighbors, Freddy and Julio Flores, with Air Max Heating and AC. They're a father-son team, and it's a pleasure having them here today. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Ron.
sir.
Thank
Good
you,
morning.
sir.
The pleasure's all ours.
Great to see you. Great to have you here. Tell us about your business. What do you do? What is it about?
Well, we're a local HVAC company here in Bastrop. We've come a long way just to try to get our own business going, and we've been doing pretty good, just trying to help out the community of Bastrop. We're local Bastropians, and we love our community, and we like to try to give back to our community.
That's wonderful.
And
I think that speaks volume for me as well. Like he said, he was born and raised here in Bastrop, Texas, was as well. I have a family of 5. He obviously has a family as well.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have any plans on leaving Bastrop ever. I love the country. I love our people here in the community. And like he said, we do like to give back to the community and make sure all of our residents right here in Bastrop, Texas are taken care of.
This is a very unique place, isn't it?
yes,
Yes,
it
sir.
is. Yes,
Yes,
it
sir,
is.
it
Yeah,
is.
I love it. I've seen it grow from fields to everything that we have around us now. So it's come a long way,
Yes, it has.
and we want to continue to be a part of Bastrop.
That's wonderful.
Yes, sir.
Well, tell us about your journey. How did you get into the business? And maybe Freddie start with, because I know father, sons, oftentimes the son follows the footsteps of the father.
Yep.
And
Yes.
that must be wonderful. But tell us, how did you get into this in the first place, Freddie?
Well, actually, in '93, I was working for a filtration company. I was making electrostatic filters, and I had a friend of mine that was in the HVAC business, and he went to move on with another company and called me up, and he said, "Hey, would you like to come be my helper?" So naturally, I said yes, because it was a nice career to get into. It was a good career to get into, so I said yes, I would love to do that. And he gave me the opportunity, and I was really fortunate enough to have somebody that was doing things the right way and was teaching things the right way. And he taught me, and I owe him a lot. And he taught me how to do this. And I just went from year to year, and I just finally just built it the way I wanted to do it and started doing things my way. And I really strive to really do it the right way, because when a homeowner puts down a big amount, so to speak, for changing out an equipment or whatever the case
yeah.
may be, I want to make sure that customer gets what he wants.
Yes.
Or what he paid for, should
Yes.
I say. And so just one thing led to another. And like I said, I've been doing this since '93. And then Julio come up to me one day, and he used to be in the retail business, manager for some local places here in Bastrop. And he said, "Dad, I'm tired of working like this for somebody else." He said, "I really would love to start doing HVAC." And as much as I really tried to get him not to do it, he was determined to do it. And you know what, he took it. And I'm very proud of him, because he did in 6 years that it took me since '93 to do, and he blew it away. And I'm very proud of him. So he's come a long way.
That's wonderful.
Yes, sir.
He's a little too kind. He's a little too kind, but I am thankful and appreciative to the mentors and the teachers that I've had. A lot of people, unfortunately, don't have that type of resource. I was thankful that when I jumped my first day, I remember my first day into the HVAC industry, and you talk about a deer in the headlights. Man, I had no idea what wire was going to which, what component powered what. But luckily for me, I was able to have a mentor who cared about me and was a phone call away. And
Yeah.
over time, and trying to be a sponge and trying to soak up any bit of information that I could possibly do or that I can, I was able to elevate my game to reach a standard that I still have within my grasp, but still to today trying to reach. I'm trying to learn and grow every single day. There's something to learn every single day. Technology doesn't stop.
There
and it
is,
won't.
yeah.
It's going to continue to change, and that's okay with me, because change is good.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, we strive ourselves in doing things the right way, doing things the honest way, and trying to satisfy any client that's in need. But like I said, I'm locally here in Bastrop. Don't plan on leaving. I plan on helping the community in any way that I possibly can.
That's great. Tell me what you do enjoy the most about being a father-son team.
Well, we get to kid around with each other.
I give
all
him a
day.
hard time.
He gives me a hard time.
You get to send him up into the attic,
But
right?
that's the thing is I do. That's what I told him. I said, well, when you hear me say the word attic, I'm not saying it to say it.
You
Maybe
paid
that's
your dues.
because It's your
And
turn
that's
to
a
get
true
up there.
story.
No, and
That's
that
a
is-
true story.
That is no joke. No, but I love working with him. I just, it's like you said, he's a sponge. And sometimes he'll get into something and he'll start working on it. And I'll tell him, if you try this, and he'll try it. And then he'll say, yeah, what, that did work a little bit better. So sometimes he takes what I get. But I tell you what, for being as young as he is and for being somewhat new to the industry, I mean, I guess you can say 6 years still new, but he shocks me sometimes, you know, because he'll say, Dad, you know, let's do this. So we try to make it as enjoyable as we can, considering you're in an attic for a 120-degree attic.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, and we're up there. It's tough. So when you're sitting there drenched and you're soaking wet, you got to try to find some kind of humor in it some kind of way.
better.
Like, you got to. So, but what's good about him is that I just enjoy working with him. He's a lot of fun, and we'd like to kid around with each other. And like you said, he gives me a hard time, but he wants to boss me around. This is his time that he gets to tell me what to do, because I've told him what to do for 32 years, 33 years, and so now he likes to push me aside a little bit. But it's always fun, though. We have a good time.
I always joke with my kids sometimes. I say, I've been on the planet longer than you, so you better pay attention. So
Yes, sir.
you do that with Julio.
Oh yeah, that's the exact same
I've heard
thing.
that multiple times.
Yeah, he knows.
I've heard that multiple times. But just to piggyback off him, like he said, I think that he and I have a great partnership. He is my best friend. Like, we have a great relationship with each other, and we implement that in the field. We have a great partnership in the field. I do keep him on his toes. I do give him a hard time. I will continue to do that. And but he does the same to me. He keeps me on my toes. He gives me a hard time. And he has a process. I have a process. We have a good relationship. We have a good process that we do no matter what job we're going into. He knows his job. I know my job. And the world keeps turning.
Yeah. And every job's new, isn't it? I mean, there's always something new.
There's always something. These units,
Always.
These units do some crazy things sometimes, and it make you scratch your head a few times.
Yep.
Because a lot of times you think it's just real simple, but you get into it and turn out to be something you didn't think it was. And so it can be challenging sometimes. I mean, like I said, I've been doing this since '93, and I sometimes still learn something new on another job. There's always something. But we have a good time with it, though. We try to make it as comfortable as possible for ourselves. And of course, our ultimate goal is to take care of our customer.
Sure.
You know? And that's the one thing that Julio and I see eye to eye. It's all about taking care of the customer.
That's wonderful. Well, tell me this. People have certain ideas about HVAC, and what would be some common misconceptions or myths that you hear in the industry?
Well, the thing that we get a lot is people come to us and tell us, I turn my thermostat off every day before I go to work because they're trying to save electricity. So we have to educate people a lot about not doing that. Don't turn it off, turn it up.
Don't turn it off, turn it up. Oh.
Turn it up, because you don't want your house to start building humidity in the house.
Yeah.
Because then when you come back and you turn it on, well, your system is running twice as long, twice as hard to satisfy your house, your comfort. So if you let your house get to 81 degrees, 82 degrees, and you come home and you put it on 75 degrees,
Yeah.
well, now you just working that unit. But if you'd have just bumped it up to like 78, you got home
Yeah.
and it's comfortable, you drop it down to 75 and you're doing better. So we get a lot of that. And I tell you, I think those two, that and filters are like the
filters are a big thing,
craziest
isn't it?
things that we get customers that they'll buy these 3-month filters and stuff. And
They're misleading.
yes, they're very misleading, and they'll let them sit there for 3-4 months.
How is that misleading? Curious.
Well, because I think what he's saying as far as those 90-day filtrate allergen filters, it specifies a 3-month or a 90-day filter replacement. However, what we noticed just in the field, hands-on, is those filters, they almost have too high of a rating that they filter so good that they clog so fast. They clog way faster than a basic filter would. So at that point in time, you let it go for 90 days and it's completely dirty. And now you're starting to put strain and stress on your system that you were not prepared to do. The system is not prepared to take on that extra static pressure. So, like he said, they can be misleading. They really can be misleading with giving the 90-day filter replacement due to how good it is, but it's almost too good for your system, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Because in theory, you're just kind of clogging up your system due to that filter.
That's
So
interesting.
we try to educate people to change it out monthly, of course. If you think about it, who remembers to change a filter out every month? But we try to educate them.
So,
We
yeah.
want to make sure that they understand how it's better to change it every month versus every 3 months.
Sure.
Because like you said, because there's some places where if you look, we go to some houses, there's no grass, and they got dogs, and they got kids. So
That creates a
kids
lot
are
of
and
dust
out,
in the air,
dogs
too.
are in
Dirt
and
and
out.
dust.
So they're tracking in more dirt, and you don't see it. Of course, you don't see it. But when you look at your filter, well, it's
the
there.
evidence
You're
is
catching
there.
it. Oh, and if you got a higher restriction, where you're causing stress on that compressor, you're causing that unit to freeze up. Now you're coming up with a problem.
That
And then
should
if-
have never occurred
Exactly.
in
And
the
so
first place.
so if your system freezes up and I get there and you're completely froze up, well, now we got to thaw it out. And it might take a half a day to thaw it out before I could even touch it. you
Wow.
see. So there's a lot of things that are misleading that homeowners just aren't educated. So that's one
we
thing
try
that
to we try to implement any type of education that we can.
yeah, every time we
That's
go to
wonderful.
a customer, when we see things, we bring it up. So we try to educate them just so that they understand the best way to run this system. You see, that's why I like servicing your unit twice a year is good because it helps the homeowner's unit we build a longer life with that unit by just trying to maintain it.
With our diagnostic tools, we can improve and expand the lifespan of a unit. Because if I see something that's overamping or pressures are low or a compressor's overamping or motor, whatever the case is, a low capacitor, I can diagnose that and my meters and my gauges won't lie. So it is our job to bring that to the client's attention and they can make their decision. But again, the ultimate goal is to expand the lifespan of that unit.
I'm sure you as a homeowner would rather spend your money taking the kids out or doing something with your family versus spending all this money to replace a system.
Yeah.
And being down and out for a few days.
And then having to
a
deal with
June
the Texas
month.
heat, exactly like you're saying, just dealing with the Texas heat.
Oh,
Nobody wants
yeah.
to go through that. I don't even want to. It kills us to tell a homeowner, well, your compressor's gone. It's an 18-year-old unit. You're going to have to put a new system in. And the homeowner's like, man, how much? And we want to be able to sleep at night.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to tell a homeowner, well, you're going to burn up for a day until I come out here tomorrow. So preventive maintenance is a big deal. It really is. It's not something to take lightly because you really want to try to keep your unit going, especially here in Texas.
So you take your business very seriously and you have a lot of fun with that. Tell me, what are some things that you do for fun? How do you break away from the business at hand? Some weekends, or some things that you'd like to do together, or what is that you do for fun?
Well, he's got 3 beautiful babies. They're my babies. So
Nothing like being a grandparent, right?
nothing like being a grandparent. I tell you, I get in trouble with him because I spoil them.
He's a lot more lenient.
I'm more lenient than I
They're
was
supposed to
with him.
be.
Yeah,
You know,
I-
well,
that's what I
tell him.
hear. That's what I hear.
Time to
That's
spoil
what I
it.
tell him. I told him, I said, those are grandbabies. He said, well, Dad, I said, well, you were my son, but
Yep.
those are my grandkids. So
That's
they're
right.
totally different. Yeah. And I learned that. I didn't ever think I would ever be like that, but I learned that. Those are my grandbabies.
Yeah.
And they're my world, and I love them. And so we have a lot of fun with them. Julio likes to get outside with them and do water balloon fights and little slides, and he loves to take them to the beach. The kids love the beach.
Family time is my
family
main-
time is a
I
big
mean,
thing.
That is key.
And as he was a kid, family time was always big with us too, my wife and I.
Yes.
So we did a lot with our kids, and I'm very excited the fact that I see Julio do that with his kids. I mean, he's a great dad, and I see him what he does with his kids, and I love it. I eat it up. So that's just something we have a lot of fun like that.
That's
you know.
wonderful.
And then of course we give each other a hard time. Even at the house, we give each other a hard time. You know, just kind of picking at each other or whatever the case may be. It doesn't matter what we do. We always find some kind of way to pick at each other.
Well, we have a lot in common.
Yeah, whether it be cutting grass or whatever the case may be, even if it was at the house, we still find a way to pick at each other.
You know, we have a lot in common. So So we like to give each other a hard time. But like you said, at the end of the day, I think spending time with my family, not just my immediate, but my entire family, there's nothing in the world that really beats it. I'd rather do that than anything else out in that world that we're living in right now. But like he said, I have 3 children that I'm watching grow, and they're growing as fast as weeds. And
they go faster than you realize.
They do.
You blink and they're up
Suddenly
there.
they're in their teens.
Yeah, I tell you the truth. I think them little kids are a lot smarter than we were back in the day. I tell you that. Yes, sir.
That's awesome. Let me ask you this. Is there anything that kind of comes up in your mind where you think, looking back over the years, that you faced some challenges, the way you handled it, you learned some valuable lessons from some of the challenges that you faced? Maybe in business or even personal, whatever.
Well, my biggest challenge was when I first got started in HVAC, it's like Julio was. I mean, I was building electrostatic filters. I didn't really know the industry too well. And I was fortunate enough to have a guy that taught me right. So as the years went on, I learned how to take that and improve on it. So that, to me, that was a challenge back in the day on doing quality work.
Mm-hmm.
Because the guy that actually taught me, I mean, he was all about it, all about quality work. It wasn't about it, let's just hurry and get it in and get out and collect that money and move on to the next one. We were a 2-man team that we really cared about doing it right. And so as the years went on, I took that and I improved on that. And,
that's great.
And I can really actually say that if you look at a lot of, even back then, about my installs as I went through the years, I mean, I took the time to make things look good. I mean, we had homeowners, writing big checks for systems, but when they wrote that check, they looked at the system and they were very impressed.
Yes.
And that's the key to it, because it's like anything else. It's like when you go buy a car, well, you're not just going to go buy one that's got a dent in it or something like that.
Yeah.
You're going to spend thousands of dollars. Well, I want it worth that. And so that was my deal. My deal was all about just improving on everything that I do. And I think I still even do that today, whether it could be wife buying something to say, hey, put this together.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I'll put it together, but I'm going to put it together right, though. I don't cut no corners.
And you mentioned time. You take the time.
Well, you have to. You got to take the time. See, and that's something that I've taught Julio over the years is be patient about things. Mm-hmm. Let's not rush it. Let's be patient. Let's take the time to look at it. Let's evaluate it. Let's make the right decision, and let's do it the right way. And that way, the homeowner is excited about it. Mm-hmm. Hey, how much I owe you? And we take care of the customer. And seeing it all revolves back to just taking care of the customer.
Yes.
You see? And that's what it all comes back to. So you have to take the time to do it right. And if you look at things in a certain way and do things a certain way, and especially when you have a partner that can relate with you on that,
yes,
well, it just makes things go a lot easier, you see, because his mindset is just like mine. So he's the same way.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So tell me, Julio, what are some valuable life lessons you've learned from your father and just working with him, life in general? Just is there a few things that you can just kind of point out that you've learned?
Yeah, definitely. I think ultimately he has instilled in me, and kind of to piggyback on what he said, is doing things the right way the first time. I've always had that mindset. I've always had the mindset of you have to work for everything that you have. Nothing in this world is free. Nothing in this world gives you a handout. So if you want something, you have to earn it. You have to work for it.
You have to earn it, yeah.
Yes. And I don't mind doing that. I don't mind putting in the work. I don't mind trying to grow and grow every single day. My mindset or my theory is I know a few people in the world who think they know it all. And
I think we all know a few people like that.
Exactly. They're out there.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, somebody like that, you've completely maxed yourself out. You will never be better than you are today, because you won't allow somebody to show you or teach you or talk to you. So I like to have the mindset of being coachable. I've played sports since I could walk. I'm very athletic. I've always enjoyed any type of competition.
That's great.
And so I think that with that instilled in me from him since birth has kind of led me to be coachable. I am coachable. I do seek information I do want to learn how these components work and why they do what they're supposed to do, why they do what they're not supposed to do.
Yeah.
And I think that ultimately I have a theory as far as doing things the right way, the honest way, taking care of our people so I can take care of my family. And I think that
good.
that's the name of the game. That is the ultimate reach as far as providing for my family, giving them a better life than I ever imagined while taking care of our people out here.
I'll tell you, Ron, something on that right there, what he just said. So when I was a kid and as I was growing up, I used to do a lot of bicycles and used to break them down and stuff. My dad used to always tell me to always be smarter than the tool you're working with.
Be smarter than the tool you're working with. That's
Be
good.
smarter than the tool you're working with. Because some people get all upset and they blame the tools.
Yeah.
So he always used to tell me that. Always be smarter than the tool you're working with.
That's
So as
good.
Julio was growing up, I would tell him, don't be me, be better than me.
Yeah.
And he took that to heart. He really did. And that's one thing about Julio is that he took that to heart and he really did that. So I always tell him, just say, like my dad used to tell me, be smarter than who you're working with. But one big thing that I used to tell him, because Julio could sometimes when he was younger, he wanted to hurry up type thing. Because Julio was bouncing off the wall when he was a baby. Well, you never sit still. I would always tell him, you can't learn nothing if you think everything.
Oh my goodness, yes. That's so true.
So you have to sit back a little bit and take in what people are trying to show you.
That's right.
And those are the things that make me proud of him, because he does all of that. Even today, he's been, 6 years now that he's been in the industry? And he's blown me away by just how quick he's learned. But he does sometimes take a step back to say, well, hold on, let me look at that again.
I have no problem reaching out for help.
Yeah.
I have no problem telling myself or a client, I don't really know the answer to that question, but I will find out.
Yeah.
I will figure it out. So, and that's something that a lot of people struggle with,
Yep.
is to say, what, maybe I need some help. Let me verify, let me check, whatever that answer is. A lot of people struggle with that characteristic right there. But me personally, even when I was working in retail, I was in management with retail for multiple years, and I'm still learning product that I've never seen or had the pleasure of working with.
Yeah.
And I have a customer in front of me asking me a question about this. A, I'm not going to lie to you. B, I don't really want to wing it. So I have one other choice.
No to winging.
Yeah.
True.
We don't want to just guess or assume. So my answer was, I don't really know the answer to that question. Let me check my resource. Let me see what information I can find, and I will give you the answer.
People love that kind of, I think, humility. Humility,
respect it.
it opens you up to accomplishing more in less time, saving a lot of trouble,
Yes.
just like you're talking about.
Yeah.
And you're surrounding yourself with expertise. You're not opposed to getting help. I love that.
And it gives me an opportunity to learn.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you I've had that conversation multiple times. I've been in the attic multiple times that I have gone through this line and this line and this step and this step. And I'm like, man, this is not making any sense to me. So instead of me just saying, I'm just going to put my chips on this corner and see what happens. No, I would rather reach out to my resource. I would rather verify my findings,
Yeah.
which is going to be this guy sitting next to me. And that allows me to feel a lot more confident in my finding. That allows me to learn, because I remember all of our conversations, and I remember it for the next job. I remember it for the next job after that. So
that's
I have
good.
no problem trying to find the necessary information. I have no problem saying, I'm a little stumped. Let me check.
That's good.
We're not the type of company that wants to be part changers.
No.
We're not part changers.
Say it again.
We're not parts changers.
Not part change.
We strive to really diagnose the
We
system
fully diagnose.
and try to figure out what's
And
going on with the
pinpoint.
system. Because
Yes.
there's a lot of companies out there, and not to bash them, but they may not feel comfortable. Maybe they don't feel comfortable with their decision as to what they wanted to do or what they think is going on. So they'll change a part, and if that doesn't work, well, then they'll change another part. Even I was taught, don't be a part changer. Even as I worked for a company here local in Bastrop, and again, I had another guy there that had been in the industry for 30 some odd years, And even he became more of my mentor. And even today, he doesn't do HVAC anymore. And if I get stumped on something, that's who I call. And I know another guy
That's
here in
good.
Bastrop that he's one of the oldest AC companies in Bastrop. He's retired now. He sold his company to another company here. And even between the two of those guys, if I ever get stumped, those are my tech support. That's who I call.
That's
And
good.
sometimes, even me, even though I've been doing this so long, there's still some questions sometimes. When I get troubled, I have to step back for a minute. And sometimes I get stumped so hard that I'll reach out to them. They're two of the oldest AC company owners in Bastrop. And they're real good friends of mine. And so sometimes I have to reach out to them.
That's awesome. Well, what's one thing you wish your listeners, our listeners, knew about your business? Just tell me one thing that you really want them, really want them to know about you.
The thing that I want the homeowners to know is that when they call Air Max Heating and AC out, that they're going to get two owners out there because we're a two-man team. So not only do we own the company, but we care about our community. We have a conscience. I can't go over there and jack the price up and take all of this because you're in a spot.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna jack up my price, and because there's companies out here that are charging money for their services that just blow my mind.
Yeah.
And so I can't do that. I have to live with myself. I have to go to sleep at night. I do have a conscience. So
That's good.
it's all about taking care of my customer. It's doing the best that I can do for my customer. Just making sure that the homeowner understands that when they have an issue or they have a airflow issue or whether it be the system not working or they want to improve the quality of air,
Yes.
I want them to rely and feel comfortable and trust Air Max Heating and AC because these two guys care about your home like we care about our home. And that's the bottom
good.
line. That's what we want to do.
Julio, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, I think he said a few things that I can agree with as far as the respect
Yes.
for people's home. Anytime we have anybody on a job with us, that's the main thing that I try to stress as far as we will respect these people's homes. We will keep them clean. Matter of fact, we're going to leave our area cleaner than we found it.
That's right.
That is key. I think that speaks volume for our character.
Absolutely.
But ultimately, I think we are a local Bastrop company, family oriented, and we do care about the community. We do try to do things the right way. We do pride ourselves on being honest.
Mm-hmm.
We're not salesmen. We're techs and we're installers. And there's a lot of companies out here that are taking salesmen and turning them into techs. And that's not something that we believe in. That's not something that we try to be. But ultimately, like I said, I think we need to, I would want people to know that Air Max is here to provide any type of service. And even if that means when I pull up and your trash cans are empty by the street, I'm going to bring them up for you. I mean,
Wow.
during Christmas time and I'm in the attic because I'm already up there.
Yeah.
Do you want me to bring your tree down because I'm standing right next to it?
Right.
Little things like that I have no problem doing in
That's
any
incredible.
way of helping anybody that I potentially can.
Yeah.
It is something that makes me feel good about myself. It's something that comes natural. It's something that he and I both agree on. Because ultimately, like I said, we're here for the client. We're here to make sure that everybody is comfortable in their comfort space of living.
We've had situations like that. I can go back as far as telling you, I pulled up to a homeowner one time. The lady was pulling in. She had a trunk full of groceries. I helped her bring her groceries in. I helped her get her groceries in. She was bottles of water and all kind of stuff. And
That's awesome.
I helped her bring it in. I mean, I was there. I wasn't just going to stand right there and watch her do it. So when I look at her, I looked at my wife. I said, I wouldn't let my wife do that. So
Yes.
I'm here to help.
It's all about relationships, isn't
That's
it?
what it is.
Building,
You have-
nurturing those relationships,
personal
building trust.
relationship.
You have to
personal-
build a
yeah.
trustworthy
Yeah.
relationship with your homeowners.
Yeah.
That's what it all boils down to because
I agree.
I've had homeowners say, Freddie, you know what? I'm not going to be there, but I'm going to leave a key under the mat for you. I trust you.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do. I trust you 100%. And I do it just like as they were there. I'm there to take care of that homeowner, get that homeowner cooling or
Yes.
eating or whatever the case may be. And know that when I leave, like he said, my spot is going to be cleaner than what you had it. Key's going to be right back there. I'm going to make sure that door's locked. I'm going to look around, make sure nobody was watching. And so, because we live in a crazy world nowadays.
Yes, we do.
So I don't take anything for granted. So it's all about the homeowner.
This has been wonderful. So how can the listeners learn more, contact, or stop by your company? What are some steps that they can take?
Well, we of course, we have our website, and then
Your website address again is what? airmaxtx.com. The way Airmax is spelled is Air Max, MAXX,
Right.
then tx.com.
Yes, sir. Our phone number is 512-412-6078. But again, you could always visit our website and book online. It also has our email address on there, which is the same as our website, airmaxtx@gmail.com.
Okay.
And you can always book a scheduling service call or a maintenance request at that point in time as well, and receive a phone call immediately. So
Now tell me one more thing. There was the maintenance program you have. We talked about the other day.
yes, sir.
It's like twice a year. Just give me just a real quick explanation of your maintenance program. I thought that was really great.
So how that works is it's a preventative maintenance program that allows us to come out annually twice a year. So we come out once for the heating season, which we're going to ensure that your heater is operating safe
That's great.
and it's operating efficient as possible, and that you're not going to be down and out pending failures in the peak cold
Yeah.
to make sure that your heater is working. And we also come out in the cooling season, which is obviously spring/summer, because here in Texas, we pretty much skip spring
Yeah.
and we go straight into summer.
Yep.
So we have even sometimes winter is delayed by a few months. So we have a real tough, real lengthy summer. And so again, the goal and the objective is to make sure that you have no pending failures, make sure that your system is operating safe, and let's check the efficiency of that system, because as the years go on, the efficiency decreases, your R value decreases, your SEER rating decreases as that system continues to grow.
Yeah.
Think about a vehicle. When you buy a vehicle, a brand new vehicle, you just drove off the lot with 22 miles per the gallon. 10, 12 years later down the road, you're only getting 15.
Yeah.
Due to some normal basic wear and tear. That could be just preventative maintenance that we could keep your system operating at the most efficient level that we potentially can. With that being said, you get that little peace of mind that, again, I've said holds a lot of value, that, hey, your system is looking clean. It's operating to manufacturer specifications. We did what we had to do as far as keeping it clean. You should be good throughout the year. And that holds a lot of value.
Yes. Going back to the maintenance, what I love about that is homeowners not having to put on the calendar and remember, okay, call AirMax the beginning of summer, call AirMax in winter. You put them on a schedule, and then the reminder system is you can handle all that, right?
Yep.
Yes,
You
sir, we
carry
take
all
care of
that. So you call up, say, hey, we're scheduled this time. Can we set up a time to come out and take care of you?
Yes, sir, that's what we do.
exactly right.
I usually call, or Julio will call, one of us will call, and we'll
We
schedule.
proactively schedule.
We'll schedule
That's
with
great.
you, and then
We
of course
handle that.
it's at your availability,
Yes.
whenever you're available.
Everybody has a busy schedule going on, and we don't mind accommodating. It needs to fit your schedule, and we're here for the clients. So that's one thing that gets taken out of their hands.
Yeah,
and we
that's
hold on
good.
to it because we'll make the call and say it's the
You don't have to
season.
remember. We'll do it for you.
We'll
That's
do it for
good.
you.
That'll
Yes,
give
sir.
them peace of mind, that's
Yes,
for
sir.
sure.
Yes, sir.
Well, it's a pleasure just sitting down with you, talking to you, hearing your story, and hearing the passion and the growth mindset and the care that you carry for people. We really appreciate that. It's been wonderful. Thank you for
Thank you.
joining us today.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I
The
appreciate your
pleasure's
time.
all
Thank
on
you.
our side.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbors of Texas podcast. To nominate your favorite local business to be featured on the show, go to goodneighborsoftexas.com. That is goodneighborsoftexas.com. We look forward to connecting good people with great businesses.